Hello, everyone. It's me, Ella, here in All Writers Welcome. And today I'm going to talk to you about how to write and market and publish your book in 4 months. I'm going to start a little bit of background. I'm going to feel a little bit vulnerable here because even though right now I'm, sharing hosting responsibilities of this group with Megan. There's a million people in here. Well, not a million, but it seems like a ton of people. So even though right now I have this really cool writing life going on, it actually wasn't always that way. So when I was growing up, I have notes here. I'm glancing down. When I was growing up, I was the analytical one, and my sister was the creative one. And then on top of that, it was one of those kind of difficult / painful childhoods. And so what I did was instead of like being a normal kid, I escaped into books. And I'm sure a lot of people have escaped into books. And so when I was not young, like a little kid, but when I was younger in my early teens, I read a lot of romance novels because, and I'm looking back, I realized I read all those romance novels because I really wanted to put myself in the place. Every time I opened one of those books, I got to be someone who was loved unconditionally. It didn't matter what kind of craziness happened. The woman was loved, and it always was a happy ever after. And then I grew up a little bit and still started reading urban fantasy. And I really loved urban fantasy because there's so many strong women. And so books have been like my salvation my whole life. But I never thought that, it took me a really long time. Like I've probably read thousands of books, but never even considered that I might be able to write one on my own. It wasn't until after college that I started thinking, well, maybe, like it was a few years after college, and I've been reading thousands of books, but a few years after college, I started thinking, maybe I could write a book. And that kind of started out with, I'm a person who likes to do a lot of research. So I started reading, I just started reading books about writing. And so I started with like Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott, and then, On Writing by Stephen King. And over the next 10 years, I just started reading and collecting books about how to write a book. And now I don't know, and so now, finally, after 10 years of doing all my research and procrastinating and trying to figure out whether it was good enough, it's time. Like I'm here in this group and I see you all are doing such amazing things. And I'm like, okay, you guys are super inspiring, and there's no reason for me not to be doing this now. There's no reason for me not to say this is time to write a book. So I don't know how many of you will relate to my story. I don't know, because there's a lot of people in here. You guys have been writing for a while, and I haven't. I've never written a fiction novel. I've started writing, and by started writing, I mean like a few pages, some creative writing stuff. But so I don't know how many of you will relate, but maybe you can relate to the frustration of not doing what you know that you can do. Maybe you can relate to the procrastinating on something for a year or 2 years, or for me 10 years on something, because there's always something that's more important, and there's always something that's really urgent that needs to be taken care of right away. And then before you know it, all this time has gone by and you still haven't done that one thing that you can do and that makes your heart light up. So maybe you can relate to some of those things, even if you can't relate to the not writing part. Or maybe you can relate to that feeling of, after all this time of not doing that thing that's important to me, right now is the time. And that's where I'm at right now. Right now, I'm like, you know what? all those fears and all that insecurity and all of those things that were stopping me from doing this thing that I wanted to do for so long, this thing that I truly love, it's time. It is time. And I've got, you guys are so inspirational. So I'm like, there's no reason, there's no excuses. It's time for me to write a book. So, and when I do something, I don't do it like halfway. Like once I do finally decide like it's time, I'm all in. And so with this book, if I'm going to write this book, and I am, I'm going to do it all the way. I'm going to see like how quickly can I do it? How quickly can I get a pretty good book out there? And I know it's my first book, so it's not going to be like, it's a first book. So it's not going to be my like magnum opus. And I really hope I said that right. It's not going to be like the classic novel. It's going to be my first book. But how quickly can I write a pretty good first book? And going all in, how can I make sure that there's a lot of people on the other side reading it? Like how can I make sure? And so I actually, one of my cats just turned the light off. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to leave and turn it back on. I'm just going to be a little bit dimmer. Okay, so once I decide something, I go all in, and I was like, how can I do this? Like, what's the quickest amount of time, and how can I do this? And I went and talked to my good friend Megan, because she's a writing coach, and you all have seen Megan in the group. And I was like, Megan, let's hash out a calendar, because even though I haven't been writing, I've been doing a lot of marketing and a lot of mindset stuff and self-publishing. Like I've still been in that world. I just have like been hesitating on the writing part. And so I was like, how can we get together and put together something that would be as quickly as possible, that it includes the writing part, which includes revising and beta readers, because again, I want it to be as good as possible. Well, as good as it can be, and get it done quickly. Also, we were considering marketing, so like making an author webpage, doing social media, etc. And also the self-publishing part, right? So that means the book cover, that means formatting. And I was like, okay, we put all these things that we want to get done, and how can we get them done? You know, what's the time frame? And the time we came up with was 4 months. Like that seemed like, okay, here's how we can do this. Here's the 4 months. And we made a calendar, and it goes week by week, what activities that you need to do in each of those categories, the writing, the marketing, and the self-publishing. And it has each week by week what to do in each of those categories, so that at the end of 4 months, you have a book that a lot of people are reading. And it's pretty dang good. It's a pretty good book. And so the date we came up with was October 30th. So on October 30th, I will be publishing my book, hopefully to an audience of hundreds of people, and that they will enjoy it, and it'll be pretty good. And in the meantime, I'll have developed a writing practice, and I'll be, anyways, it's exciting. I'm really excited. But Megan and I are, Megan's a writing coach, and I'm a marketing coach. And so it was like, well, why don't we pull our resources and actually create a program? And so we created a program. It's the Write, Market, and Publish Your Book program, a 4-month program where we go through all those things. We also have just the calendar though. So anybody can get access to the calendar, and it goes through week by week what to do starting at the end of June and going all the way through October 30th when you press that button. And I just think it would be so fun to have a huge group of us pressing publish on October 30th. We should have like a big All Writers Welcome party the next day. Facebook party! But if you want to find out more about the program, or if you just want to get the calendar, there's webinar links all over the place right now. we're doing some webinars in the next week, and and there's one. I'm pretty sure there's one tonight, but if there isn't, if you're watching this later, go look for some of the webinar links. If it's before the end of June, like if we're still in June, there's going to be a webinar link somewhere, and sign up to find out, to get the calendar, so you can, here's how you go step by step. And each week has no more than 4 I think there's 1 week that has 4 activities, and the rest of them only have 3 activities per week. And that includes the writing, that includes the marketing, that includes the self-publishing. So sign up for a webinar to find out more and to get the calendar. And we'll go through the program and help you all out. We'll see, like, here's how you do it. Here's exactly what steps you need to take in these 4 months to get it done. And I am really excited because for me personally, this is going to be a dream that I've had for at least a decade, and have never and have not made happen. And now I'm going to. Yeah. Yay. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin says, hey, I want to know more. Well, I'm really excited. So I'm going to get off now. Unless there's any other questions, I'm going to go and put a webinar link in the comments of this video. And if you want to find out more, I'll be on tonight with Megan, and we'll be talking through the calendar, walking you through the calendar. And if you're watching this at some other time, go ahead and find that webinar link, and we will walk you through the calendar then. It's really exciting. And I really hope that a handful of people come on and join us because, I'm sure all of you have dreams too that you've wanted to happen, things that you've wanted to complete, and that for whatever reason have been stopped by it. And you don't have to anymore. We're going to show you exactly what you need to do and give you the support that you need. And, like me, it's time. It's time. So if it's time for you as well, go ahead and sign up for a webinar link. And I'll see you on the webinar. Thank you, guys. I'm sending hearts to you. I'm feeling very, very sentimental right now. Bye.